Welcome to another 12 Scholars tutorial, and today we're going to have another look at project management on our two triangles and a circle methodology. And we're going to have a look at the rear end of a project, and that's handover and delivering on those project deliverables. And hopefully by the end of this we'll have left you with a few tools, top tips and techniques that will help you become more successful and you and your teams be more successful in delivering projects. But before that, let's have a look at poor project management and what does poor project look like. Well, we've got our dinosaur approach, and that's our Brontosaurus model of project management. So if you can imagine a timeline, we've got the beginning, a middle and an end of a project. When it comes to poor projects, they tend to be thin at one end, thick in the middle and thin towards the other end. That is, the project scope and the initial brief tends to be fairly flaky, fairly weak to begin with. There's then a lot of activity in the middle, people running around in circles. And then at the other end, things tend to fizzle out or forgotten about. So that's what poor projects look like. Now we've got a different approach, and we call it our two triangles and a circle methodology. Like before, there's got a beginning, a middle and an end to the project. The beginning is all about scope definition. And once we've agreed on that original project brief, we then spend our time whittling it down and down and down until we're all agreed on that one business case. So we've got all the stakeholders singing off the same hymn sheet. The middle of the project is then all about project delivery. And when that's delivering in sprints, in review cycles, or in stage gates, that's where most people spend most of their time. Then we've got the final part of the project, and that's the handover. And sometimes people actually forget about that. They get too preoccupied in the delivery of the project and scope creep that we tend to forget about what we originally set out to achieve. So that's what we're going to have a look at. Now, in terms of project speak, many of you will have come across the expression definition of done. It's either done or it's not done. But we think that's a bit binary, and we actually call it our binary expectations. So when delivering a project, it's either black or white, done or not done. But sometimes that can be confusing and lead to a lot of angst in the project. Because what you find is in large, complex projects, we have scope creep, we have different expectations, and people's views on the project change throughout. We learn things new throughout the project. So you need to continue to review those definitions, but just by having two definitions can tend to somewhat limit the project. So what we do is we look at the excellence framework, and that's our EGSP. And here we are, as if by magic. We've got our excellent, good, satisfactory and poor. So rather than having two definitions, we've now got four definitions of what the project should be delivering on. So like with our EGSP framework, we'll start at the bottom, delivering what does poor look like. Now in terms of the definitions of done, that's what does not done look like. Now that can be fairly obvious to some people, but it's worthwhile spending time here and actually defining what does poor look like before we move on to what does done look like, or in this case, what does satisfactory look like. And that's as a minimum, what do you expect from this project? And in terms of handover, as a minimum, what do you expect to hand over once this project is completed? Once we've worked that out, we can then look at what does good look like, and then what does excellent look like. But what you'll find is, as you move through a project, people's definitions and people's versions of what this looks like will change based on various stakeholder group or based on what they know at the time. So rather than looking at done and not done, we've now got four definitions. But what I suggest is you need to continue to review those because people's expectations will change. And when it comes to project management, that's where a lot of angst and a lot of confusion will derive from. So that's our EGSP framework. Avoid those binary definitions, review throughout, and start delivering early and regularly on the project. So when we've got this thick red line, once you know that you've delivered that satisfactory, hand it over and learn from it. The sooner you can actually hand over parts of your project, the better, and the better the project will be. So focus on that red line, get things over that thick red line, start delivering on satisfactory, and then you can work on what does good look like and delivering on excellent. So a few things there: avoid binary, review throughout, start delivering early, and focus on that thick red line. Hopefully that'll help you deliver your next project, and certainly when it comes to the back end of a project. That's it as far as this short tutorial is concerned. If you've liked what you've seen, hit the button to subscribe on the YouTube channel. You can also visit the website where we've got more information, and you can also sign up to our weekly newsletter, The Sunday Scholar. And for those who want to take their development a bit further, you can actually join 12 Scholars as one of our members. So thanks very much for watching. My name's Bob, and I look forward to seeing you next time.